Good evening and welcome to the Board of Zoning Appeals, Monday, December 1st, 2025. The first item on our agenda is the determination of a quorum. If the secretary will please take the roll again.
Mr. Durbin?
Here.
Mr. Crowley?
Here.
Mr. Tucker?
Present.
Mr. Cooper is absent. Mr. Powell?
Here.
Ms. Horner here. Ms. Narduzzi?
Here, we have a quorum. Thank you. Normally, we would allow time for public participation as we only have one member in our audience this evening, and it is the applicant. So we will skip on to the minutes from our November 17th, 2025 meeting. Those will be distributed at a later date. No old business this evening, so we will move right on to our one case, BZ 25-018. Our applicant is Gemini CRE LLC, and the location of the variance request is at 193 Smoke Rise Drive. Can we have a staff report, please?
Yeah, the applicant is seeking a 15-foot front yard setback variance in order to construct an auto body repair shop at the property located at 193 Smoke Rise Drive. It is at the southeast intersection of Freedom and Smoke Rise Drives. You'll see it up there on the aerial, the vacant lot right here. And the property is at the edge of a C3 district. It does abut R4 residential district on the west side of Freedom Drive. I think there's a map in your staff report, and let me see if I can pull it up in mine. Yes, so property lines didn't come out very clear, but this is the R4 district, Freedom Drive, and we're looking at this site here. So here is a basic site plan of what the applicants had hoped to get approved. It would be again a large auto body repair shop, access to the site coming off of Smoke Rise Drive, and again, as a corner lot, it does have 2 front yard setbacks. In the C3 district, the front setback is 60 feet. They maintain a 60-foot setback along Smoke Rise, but they are pushing the building slightly more to the west, where they're requesting to reduce that variance to no less than 45 feet in order to make the building fit on the site. The site does have a little bit of an odd shape, as you can see from that earlier envelope. It's got a lot of space along the Smoke Rise frontage, but it jogs out. Well, actually, it loses some spot, and it's a lot narrower along Freedom Drive. So let's see. Let's go back here. Let's go back. Okay. So again, at this point, the proposed variance only applies to the Freedom Drive frontage. They can maintain 60 feet along Smoke Rise. There's just some things I want you to consider. You need to know about this request. First is that the actual setback along Freedom Drive appears to be a little bit more than 45 feet. You can see from the drawings they're showing basically 21.5 feet from the sidewalk to the edge of the drive lane, 24-foot drive lane, and about 3 additional feet. But I think a 45-foot variance to allow for a 45-foot setback works. The 3 additional feet do help with turning radii. You can see there's at least one overhead door on this site, so it helps vehicles move in and out of the site. Another thing to consider, there's no vehicular access to this site from Freedom Drive. So having the building sit closer to the front property lines, not going to have a negative impact on site distance on that street. And again, building sits at least 60 feet from the intersection of Freedom and Smoke Rise, so no interference with the intersection either. I'd also point out that some of the existing commercial structures with frontage on Freedom don't currently comply with the setback requirements. Particularly, that would be the old, what's known as the old Kmart building. The portion that's now occupied by Tractor Supply, I think that part of we've got about a 55-foot setback there. And in addition, Tractor Supply does have some outdoor storage areas that encompass some of the parking areas along the west side of the building, as well as in front of the building, that really have more of an impact on the site visibility than a permanent structure. Across the street, the Great Oaks Lanes, which is right down here at Freedom and Great Oaks, this building's only got a 50-foot setback. So again, a request for a reduction to the setback along Freedom's not unusual. Looking to the other side of the street, and again, keeping in mind we now are in an R4, a residential district, the Senior Living Center has a setback of only 27 feet. Again, in an R4 district, you can have a setback as close as 20 feet. But the fact is, if 20 foot on one side would be acceptable, reducing the setback on the other side to something that's still twice as large as what would be required, shouldn't have an impact. I've already discussed some of the Tractor Supply storage areas, and they have a closer proximity to Freedom Drive than the building itself. And again, looking at the corner lot provisions, they do create some difficulties, especially when you have a lot that doesn't have a rectangular shape. And large front yard setbacks do consume valuable space. They don't really actually or necessarily improve sight distance along that frontage either. They just kind of reduce the size of the building envelope, which makes them a little more difficult to work with. And let me see, again, the only potential solution would be either shrink the building footprint, which might negate the value to the developer, or consider rotating the plan, which creates a different problem. So if they oriented the building to Freedom Drive and turned, it would take up more frontage space along Smoke Rise, but you can see up here at the northwest corner the curve in Smoke Rise Drive. We'd require a variance over here. So there's really, without shrinking the building footprint itself, a variance is going to be required no matter which street frontage we're dealing with. Considering there's going to be really no action or no activities along the Smoke Rise Drive frontage, no driveways to interfere with it, it's probably the best street to have that variance apply. And finally, this is a commercial project. It will still have to go to Planning Commission for their site plan review. And part of that process might involve the Planning Commission requiring some additional buffering along the Freedom Drive frontage. But just going through some of the proposed building elevations, again, these are prototype. The actual building may differ somewhat. But I'm going to try and find a shot from the this here represents the corner to your left would be Smoke Rise. To the bottom is Freedom. And again, these doors face Freedom, I do believe. You can see that the rear part of the parking area where they will store cars that are being picked up or getting in ready for repair is going to be screened from public view for the most part with a 6-foot solid or screen type fence. So it is a fairly substantial operation. If they move forward, they will be investing a lot of money in this particular site. So really, that's all I have. Again, I would just recommend that you review Section 154-561C. Consider any input you receive here at the hearing before acting on the application. And again, I would suggest any motion to grant the proposed 15-foot variance should be made contingent upon the Planning Commission's site plan approval for this project. So that's all I have right now.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Do you know, or do we know what the building size is, square footage?
You know what? I think the engineer may know that offhand.
It's not in our information right now?
You know, I didn't include it in there, but I think, of course, I can't read the dimensions on
That's
the...
okay. I'll ask the applicant
It
when.
looks like it'll be about 113 feet, and I don't see what the other dimensions are. But you can see there's an office and I guess a customer seating area.
Right.
In front. Most of the building is, internal bays for
Bays.
repairs. It looks
Right.
like
Paint booths.
maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 paint booths.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Any questions for Jeff?
No.
Okay. At this time, I will declare the public hearing open. Other agencies, police and fire, have already been made aware of this application, so at this time, I will defer to the applicant. Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and give us any additional information you'd like the board to consider, please.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Henfling. My address is 4976 Countryside Road, Lyndhurst, Ohio 44124. I'm a civil engineer with Civil and Environmental Consultants, also known as CEC. We're the engineering firm representing Gemini for the project. I think the report covered a lot of the nuances of this project. I will tell you that the building area is 16,570 square feet. It's on the top right of that PDF. If you go up there.
There we go.
Yeah, so 2.11 acres. It's obviously, as he pointed out, an irregular shaped lot, a corner lot. Those are always the hardest to build on and develop. Really eats into the value of the land when it comes to commercial development. So, we oriented the design of this auto repair shop to maximize the lot that we did have, and obviously we're requesting a 15-foot variance on the setback of freedom. We think that's the best layout. We think it really is a pretty minimum request for this area, for this project. If you look along Freedom Drive, as you mentioned, there's certainly other buildings that have, that are that have encroachments into that, or the setback, and certainly across the street, a different district, but it's close by. So we think it's a pretty minimum request. I will say it's the building, the way it's laid out right now is at 48 feet. This layout is prior to getting our topographic survey with the monumentation and the actual right-of-way. So this is laid out using GIS, but we checked a couple things and we think it's pretty accurate to what we have. So I think that's all I have, on top of the staff report. But if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Is that size of building customary? I know you've already addressed you've had to make some modifications to it to actually fit on this particular parcel, but is that typically the size of this building? Are you aware?
I'm not aware because we don't do
All
repair shops all the time. I judging from the layout, in my opinion, it seems reasonable. So there's actually I think you probably saw the logo of what the brand it would be. I think there's more of these in Ohio. I don't know the size of them.
Okay, that's fair, sure.
But you could probably look it up.
Sure. More curious than anything, so. Any other questions? Any questions for our applicant?
How close is the fence to Freedom Drive? I could not, if it's there, I couldn't see it.
I
But that's,
believe,
It's about 21 feet, 21 and a half feet.
oh, okay.
They would put the fence up pretty much behind, let me see if I can find a better picture.
like behind the curb.
Yeah, it would, let's go back here to the site plan, so I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more. But it looks like from the back of the sidewalk to the curb of the internal drive, about 21 feet. So that's probably where that fence would go. So
Okay.
there'll be a 21 and a half feet of land area where that fence would go, and possibly some additional landscaping if
Okay.
required by the ADC.
Judging from these photos, it's looking like it's a solid black mesh fence.
Yeah,
Privacy-wise.
I was talking to the lead project architect who's out of their Indianapolis office, and I can't remember what type of material it will be, but yes, it will be some type of, I'm not sure if it's a fabric or a fence, we'll get into those details later, but it will be, it's going to really kind of block that view.
Is that an ADC or a planning decision?
That'll be an ADC decision.
I think the intent of the fence is to block, the damaged cars that they're going to be repairing. That way it's not a,
So in theory, the fence, a fence is going to be a lot less unsightly than
Yeah.
damaged cars.
right, because you wouldn't want the damaged cars sitting out front.
Right.
You put them in the back of the building.
Right.
You have a kind of a privacy fence back there, and so nobody really has to.
This is going to resemble a junkyard, and that's
Yeah.
that's certainly
No,
not the vision that they want to
But,
convey.
these repair shops, you need repair shops.
It's a repair, yeah, right. It
So
needs
they're doing the best they can to make it, look nice.
blend a little bit and not.
And I'm sure if there's any fencing specifics that the city would require, they would be
Right.
open to.
I'm actually asking questions outside of this board's scope, more out of curiosity than anything.
I do have a question, I'm not sure which Jeff is to answer. For the variance, should we specifically say, because of, he's mentioned about but because of the drawings were like rendered, they don't know
Before
for
they had the
sure?
topographic.
So should we say no more than 15-foot
Yeah, that's what I would
variance?
do, is just say to
Okay.
grant the variance.
Just because that way we'd
not-
have a
not greater than
3-foot
15
buffer.
feet. That way, if they have to shift it a few
Right,
feet
yeah.
to the one side, it's fine.
Yeah.
They,
I just want to cover ourselves
Right.
for because
But
it is
in terms of the actual fence material, that's something we'll talk to with the BZA. I'm sure,
You mean
I'm sure they
ADC?
wouldn't want just a standard pressure-treated wood fence, which tends to fall apart rather quickly. So I can't remember what particulars I was given regarding the fence, but that's a little way off.
Sure, sure.
So right now, I think the applicants, one, because of the site has some issues, they need to know whether or not they can, a variance will be granted. If so, then I think early next year, they're going to start the planning commission review process.
Okay.
Jeff, I do have a question for you. On the back of the lot, the back parking, is that for vehicles to be picked up, or is that waiting to be put up, taken in? Because I'm concerned with that retention pond behind it, the runoff of the antifreeze, the fuel, the oils, any bodily fluids dripping out of the vehicles.
Sure, I believe that the intent of the back lot is to help shuffle the cars in and out of the shop.
Okay.
I would imagine that those are for the cars that are in need of repair. I'm not 100% sure, though.
Are you talking about this parking area right now?
Well, on his, on the back of his lot.
Yes.
It would be that vicinity
Okay.
right there.
That-
Does it say it's got a retention pond going in there?
Yeah, this parking lot was actually built when Lewis Perry and Associates occupied this building.
Okay.
Okay, and then it became CDM Smith. So that was one of the questions that I asked, and one of the items that we will discuss in the preliminary review meetings. This is probably still in use by the new owners of this building, which is a medical firm out of Pickerington. But I don't know. I said, do you have is there an easement in place, or what's the intent? All I know is right now they intend to kind of keep this. Let's go back to their site plan. Oh, come on. So you can see that, one, they are proposing a parking lot directly behind the building.
Correct.
Again, that's kind of for storage for the cars. So far, the detention basin is proposed for here, so it is between both of the parking lots. The one that they're going to build, plus the parking lot and easement for the parking lot that already exists. So as part of their design, should the actual detention basin stay here, they're going to have to design it to meet current water quality and quantity standards. So there will be, I would assume, certain provisions taken in place to kind of separate and mitigate any automotive fluids, from running off into there. I think typically, too, I'm sure there's going to be some type of internal receptors and underground tanks to collect some of those chemicals.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're not far enough along in the design yet to have those type of details, but yeah, so it would follow all current standards. This type of place might need an oil water separator, it might need a collection, before it can just get discharged, or before it can go to the basin.
Thank you.
So it's, if you look, you can see kind of a double line on the site plan. That's the proposed curb, and you can see that back parking lot of the shop is all enclosed. So, the water is staying on the pavement. And haven't designed the stormwater yet, but it'll go somewhere where appropriate.
Anyone else? Thank you, Jeff, appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, Jeff Kaiser, sorry. Any concluding comments?
No, like you said, a lot of the details are yet to be determined.
Right. We got off on a
this is-
tangent. We're
right.
primarily here just for the
Right.
setback
So
variance. but
conceptually, if
I
they
think we're
get this,
curious.
then they'll work at, look at the topo, other utilities, where they're located, how do we tie into them,
Right.
and kind of go from there.
Yeah.
And,
I think getting back to our scope, I think this is a very, very minimal request as far as a variance to the setback goes, particularly considering it being a corner lot and the size and shape of this particular lot. It is a very minimal request. So if there's no further discussion, if we can have a motion to close the public hearing, please.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. Thank you. If there's no further discussion or any concluding comments, if we can have a motion regarding case BZ 25-018.
All right. I'll make a motion to grant a variance to reduce the front yard setback located at 193 Smoke Rise Drive on the property's Freedom Drive frontage from 60 foot to approximately 45 feet, no more than a 15-foot reduction in order to construct a commercial structure.
Great, thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Okay, Matt, give us a second. If we can have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Crowley?
Yes.
Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
Mr. Tucker?
Yes.
Ms. Horner, yes. Ms. Narduzzi?
Yes, motion passes unanimously. Good luck moving forward. appreciate it. It'd be a nice improvement for that
Excuse
corner.
me, Chair.
Yes.
There was a recommendation from Jeff in his summary here that any motion to grant the proposal should include, be made contingent upon the Planning Commission's site plan approval.
Thank you.
Oh, if John wants to amend his motion to include, subject to
fine.
planning commission approval.
Thank you. Missed that.
Nice catch.
Good catch.
I'm in agreement.
Amend your
I'll
motion
amend
to
that,
include.
whatever Terry just said.
Okay, we have an amendment to the motion to include,
Contingent upon the Planning Commission's site plan approval for this project.
absolutely, thank you. Do we have a second to the amendment?
I second.
Awesome, thank you. Now if we could have another roll call vote.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Crowley?
Yes.
Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
Mr. Tucker?
Yes.
Ms. Horner, yes. Ms. Narduzzi?
Yes, motion still passes. Details. Very good, thanks, Terry. Is there any other business to be brought before the board?
No, that is it. I don't believe we have any cases for the meeting on December 15th. So our next meeting would be on January 5th, 2026.
Wow.
Wow, all righty.
Vacation.
Well, that being said, if we can have a motion to adjourn,
I make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Good night, happy holidays, thank you.
Officially the alternate minutes reader.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.